Hello my friends, it's Danny, and if you are on the hunt for an easy, healthy weeknight dinner idea, this one-pan baked chicken with potatoes and onions is it. It is super easy to make. It's juicy, it's tender, it is so delicious, and it's a crowd pleaser. Everybody in my family loves this recipe. It's a staple in our house. I've actually been making this one for years, and I have proof of that because the first time I shared it on YouTube was nearly 12 years ago. So I thought it was time for an update because, I mean, look at me, I was like a baby in that video. So whether you're cooking for the family, meal prepping for the week, or if you're just looking for a new back pocket recipe to add to your weekly rotation, this one-pan chicken dish is for you. Before we jump in, I just want to thank today's sponsor, Wildgrain. Wildgrain is the very first bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pastas. They partner with small bakers and pasta makers across the country to keep the tradition of artisanal and nutritious foods alive, which I absolutely love, and I'm excited to share more about them, and I'm going to do that in just a bit. Now, to get started, I've got my oven preheating at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to grab a nice large dish. Okay, now this is an 11 by 13 glass pan, but if you have ceramic, that would work as well. Then for the chicken, you're going to need about 3.5 pounds of chicken pieces. So what I like to do is I will buy a whole chicken at the grocery store, and then I just bring it up to the butcher counter and I ask them to cut it into 10 pieces. And we get 10 pieces because we take the chicken breasts and we cut those in half as well. So they're just going to cut them crosswise. So I just arrange those in my baking dish, and you're going to see that you're going to end up with 2 legs, 2 wings, 2 thighs, and then 4 pieces of chicken breasts since we cut each breast in half. So that's 10 pieces in total. Now keep in mind, if you prefer, you could just buy chicken pieces at the grocery store. So you could do all chicken breast or all chicken thighs or a mix of whatever you love, but you do want to buy bone-in, skin-on, because this really helps to create a lot of flavor and a lot of moisture when you're baking chicken. And then if you're anything like me and you don't prefer to eat the skin, you can just pull it off when it's time to enjoy. So once the chicken is arranged in the pan, then we're going to just nestle in all of the veggies, starting with some small baby potatoes. Now, depending on their size, you're either going to cut them in half or cut them in quarters. And you can get yellow potatoes, red potatoes, purple potatoes, or any combination of those. I really like to try to find color variety, not because it makes a big difference in taste, but I just think it's more beautiful. And remember, we do eat with our eyes first. But again, any of these potatoes would work. Then we are going to cut a yellow onion into wedges. Now, here's what you want to keep in mind. Whenever you're cutting your onion, if you want to keep the onion intact at all, you want to trim off the stem side of the onion, but make sure that you keep the root intact. Okay, so I'm just going to trim off the stem, then I slice it in half, peel off this outer layer, that root is intact, and then I'm just going to slice it into wedges. And then you're just going to take these onion wedges and again, nestle them throughout the pan. I really love to try to get the onions next to the chicken so they infuse all of their oniony flavor right into the meat. But wherever they land is just fine. And if you think you don't have room in your pan, trust me, just keep working them in because it's like a little cozy bake here, and they all fit, they all like nestle up next to each other. Next up, we have some garlic, and what I love to do is I take an entire clove of garlic and then I just separate the cloves, but I leave the cloves in the skin, and then again we're just going to nestle these along in the pan wherever you can get them to fit. What's going to happen is when they're in the oven, they're going to end up roasting, so you're going to get these like sweet buttery little bits of garlic that you can just use as a paste. You can just put it right on the chicken or spread it on some sourdough bread. They are delightful. And then finally, I love to just cut a lemon into 4 wedges, and then I'll just put 1 wedge in each quarter of the pan. That's just going to bring a nice, fresh, bright infusion to this to the dish. So good. Now, to season this, we're going to keep it very simple. I'm just going to do a nice generous sprinkle of some sea salt over the top, along with a little bit of black pepper, and then fresh chopped rosemary. I am telling you all, fresh herbs are the easiest way to elevate an everyday dish, okay? And if you've never worked with rosemary before, it's very easy. It comes in these little sprigs. It looks just like this. You're just going to come to the top and then pull straight down, and you'll see all these little pine-looking leaves come off, the rosemary leaves. And then from there, I just give it a really fine chop. So once you've got everything in the pan and it's well seasoned, we've got one last step, and that is I create a little like vinaigrette. So I take 3 tablespoons of an olive oil, 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, another pinch of salt and pepper, whisk that together, and then I just like to drizzle this over the chicken and the vegetables. This is going to create a ton of moisture. It helps to keep the meat really tender when it's cooking, plus it infuses even more flavor. Now, the beauty of this meal is that you can do all of this in advance. So if you wanted to do it the night before, or if you wanted to wake up early in the morning before the workday, you could do this, put it in the fridge, cover it with some foil or some plastic wrap, leave it in the fridge until you come home. Then you would just pull it out 30 to 45 minutes before it goes in the oven, just so it can come up to room temperature and you're not going from super cold to super hot. As for cooking, it's gonna go right into that 425-degree oven, and you're gonna let it cook for 50 minutes. Now, while that's in the oven, I wanna share more about today's sponsor, Wildgrain, because I really think you're going to love them. Our family has become fast fans. Wildgrain is the very first bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pastas. Now, I have never been one to make bread from scratch, but I do love a good sourdough bread. And the fact that I can just go to my freezer, pull out a loaf of sourdough, pop it in the oven, and like 20-25 minutes later, have a loaf of fresh baked sourdough bread with no mess and no cleanup is like the best thing ever. Plus you get this bonus of your entire kitchen smelling like fresh baked bread. Like, what could be better? And unlike most store-bought breads, Wildgrain uses a slow fermentation process and real ingredients that you can pronounce. So this makes their breads easier on your belly and naturally richer in nutrients and antioxidants. I also love that every box is fully customizable. So you can choose your favorites, and plus they're always adding new, seasonal, and limited time treats. Plus they have classic, plant-based, and gluten-free options, so there truly is something for everyone. Our most recent box was the seasonal fall box, and it was so fun and so festive. It came packed with seasonal baked goods, including apple cider donuts, which I have to tell you, I love apple cider donuts this time of the year. Ever since my kids were little, it's always been a tradition that we take a ride to the farm and we get apple cider donuts. So now I have them right here in the freezer, and I have to tell you, these exceeded my expectations. They're like warm right out of the oven. They've got that perfectly spiced flavor. It also had pumpkin cinnamon biscuits, which my kids gobbled up, sourdough harvest bread, which I'm serving with my chicken, and then these maple baked waffles that were delicious. And I also have to mention the croissants, because the croissants are such a classic, and to be able to just bake fresh croissants, like when the whole family is home making a brunch, it's just like this really special indulgence that our family enjoyed thoroughly. These foods are really fun. They're great for school lunches, everyday meals, like a big fall gathering, or if you just like to have like a seasonal treat. So good. I also love that for every box ordered, Wildgrain will donate 2 meals to a nonprofit of your choice at no extra cost. So not only are you eating great food, but you're also taking part in a great cause. If you would like to give Wildgrain a try, I'm going to leave all of the information for you down in the description box below. I have a link there for you. Be sure that you use my code DannySpees, because not only is this gonna get you $30 off of your first box, but you also get free croissants for life. So again, that's all going to be for you down in the description box below. Use my link and use my code DannySpees to save $30 and get free croissants for life. Okay, once the timer goes off, your chicken will be ready, and you're gonna know that it's ready because it's gonna have this beautiful golden brown color over the top, and the internal temperature of the chicken should reach at least 165 degrees, although mine usually surpasses that, and don't worry, it's still so juicy and so tender. What I love so much about this meal is that it's truly a one pan and done situation. You've got your chicken, your potatoes, your veggies, it's all in one dish, and should you have some fresh sourdough bread to serve alongside, I mean, creme de la creme, this is a family favorite. The chicken is so juicy and moist and tender. The onions are like these sweet little bits. You've got your hearty potatoes, and then the garlic. Hello, if you haven't tried this yet, all you gotta do is squish it and you get this like sweet little golden garlic paste that you could just put on a bite of your chicken or spread on your bread. I cannot wait for you guys to try this recipe. And I'm so curious if you've been with me for a long time, because I know some of you amazing people have. Let me know if you've ever tried this one in the past, and then make sure to bring it back into the rotation because it is so good and it's perfect for this time of the year. As always, I thank you for watching. I thank Wildgrain for sponsoring this video. And if you want more easy, healthy, delicious dinner ideas just like this, you're going to definitely want to check this video out next. Cheers!